What's interesting is that during day 3, I had energy in the evening. The night before, I thought that I'm going to die, and if I don't eat, that's it, and I'm not going to survive. It was all just a thought, it was not reality. If I quit, I am a failure, and if I manage to go through until the end, then it's not a big deal. And do you see how absurd is that? Was it worth it? If you would have asked me in day 2 or 3, I would say no, I hate it. Now my answer is, if you've ever considered fasting or if you are curious about the effects of fasting beyond weight loss, stick around. I will share my journey. I've spent 5 days without any food. It's been 7 days since I started eating again, and I will share with you my journey, the highs, the lows, the lessons I have learned so far, and if I would do it again, would I change anything? Fasting has intrigued me not only from the physical perspective, but also from the perspective of having the ability to reset our being emotionally and mentally. What made me try this 5-day fasting is the fact that I am so passionate about well being, living our best lives with the minimum resources, and connecting to the innate intelligence of our being. Our body knows how to heal. My BFF, I need to stop this here. Once I started editing the video, I realized how low is my energy for the entire recording. And initially, I wanted to record everything again, but then it wouldn't be honest, and the low energy is actually a reflection of the entire fasting, and these 5 days were super hard on me, and even when I started eating, my energy levels went even lower, with my body adjusting with the digestion and everything. And thank you for bearing with me. This video is a little more sleepy. It reminded me of that meme with that old guy who says that crypto is stressful. I am 25 years old and I look fine. So, thank you. I'm grateful for you. In 2016, Yoshinori Osumi won the Nobel Prize for his discoveries in autophagy. Autophagy comes from two words, auto and phagy, which means self-eating. And what they discovered is our body's capacity to self-heal. So let's go through the benefits of fasting. We have stage 0, between 0 and 12 hours, where we are still digesting food and we have an insulin peak. Then stage 1 is between 12 and 18 hours. This is the stage I was familiar with, and we have fat burning and the insulin starts falling. Then stage 2 is between 18 and 24 hours, where ketosis begins and glucagon is rising. Stage 3 between 24 and 48 hours. Autophagy begins, so this self-eating and the brain cleaning. Then stage 4 between 48 and 54 hours. HHG surges and the inflammation falls. Stage 5 between 54 and 72 hours. Insulin sensitizing and autophagy peak. And then my favorite, stage 6 at 72 hours. This was my goal, to reach the 72 hours where we have stem cells forming and immune cell refresh. So I wanted to reach this 3 days mark and then spend 2 days bathing in stem cells. That's what I was saying to myself. What I have done before was intermittent fasting. I also tried doing it for a longer term, but I couldn't go past the 48 hours mark, which was the most difficult for me also now. I was able to push through. I will give you some tips right away if you are contemplating doing it. I am positive anyone in the world can do it. We all have the same gene. If you have some health conditions, check with your doctor. So don't push yourself too much. Listen to your body. That's what it is really important here. To my surprise, after 2 days, I didn't have any cravings. Not at all. I didn't crave sweets or carbs anymore. I was going out for my daily walk slash run. I was mostly walking, and I saw a commercial with a white chocolate. And usually, when I would see white chocolate, I would crave it immediately. But now I didn't crave it. I did crave some healthy food, so I would have eaten a banana. Then I also went to the supermarket because I didn't have enough supplements, and there was a guy that had in his shopping bag, he had raspberries, and yeah, I was craving those. And it is interesting how deep inside we know, and our body knows what is healthy and what's not. So I was not craving junk food or sweets. Isn't that amazing? When I started eating back again, first I started with a soup, mainly the liquid, and oh my, it tastes excellent. It was the best soup I ever had, even though I didn't have much spices or it wasn't anything extraordinary, but it was the most delicious thing. And then when I ate the first banana, it was again the most delicious. By taking myself to the extreme, I was able to appreciate things that otherwise I would have taken for granted. One of my goals was to connect with higher consciousness, higher self. It's actually that awareness, consciousness, that feeling of knowing. If you know what I mean, let me know if you have been meditating or if you are in touch with that side of you. It's not really the right way to say it. That part of us is always there. It's just a matter of seeing it and not getting distracted by thoughts, emotions, anything that arises in this open space that is already within us. And there have been some days of frustration because I was grasping it and then I was trying to hold on to it, which actually made it go away. But now I can see it clearly. I see my own strength. There was a main theme that played during these 5 days, and especially when I hit that rock bottom after 48 hours between the second day and the third day, that night was the worst. I fell asleep for a bit and then I woke up and I felt like fainting. And one thought came into my mind, and that was that if I quit, I am a failure and I'm not able to achieve what I set my mind to. And then the next morning, after I survived or I passed through the hardest part, I actually felt fine. I didn't have that sensation of fainting anymore. My thought was that Oh, yeah, I did it, but it's not a big deal. So, the main theme, and it was also a theme for my life, is this one. If I quit, I am a failure. And if I manage to go through until the end, then it's not a big deal. And do you see how absurd is that? It's either I am a failure, and then it's not good enough, it's not a big deal. It's thinking in black and white, and it's also something that usually perfectionists think. And it's so messed up. Did you ever catch yourself thinking this way? I was so happy to become aware of this pattern and release it. Now it no longer has any power over me. I used to have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, no matter what, especially during stressful periods. During the fasting days, during those 5 days, my microbiome suffered a little bit, and by introducing different legumes, vegetables, fruits, I am repopulating my microbiome, and so far it's going very well. The other health benefit is that I have a condition called cervical dysplasia, and through fasting, I gave my body the chance to eliminate the abnormal cells, and I will keep an eye on how my condition evolves. If I would do it all over again, it would probably be in 6 months or more. And I would change these following things, which are actually also the best tips because I have learned them on my skin. One, don't try a long term fasting during winter. I was incredibly cold. It was crippling after the second day, third, fourth, fifth, and I was going out for my walk. And then the thought of needing to take off my clothes to take a shower was almost crippling. Warm weather would be the best when if you feel chilly, that's perfectly fine. Then the second tip would be to have enough supplements. I didn't have enough from the first day, and I had to go to the supermarket and I got extra temptations. I was seeing fruits in people's shopping carts and they were making me crave a little. So I was taking as supplements electrolytes, magnesium, sodium, and potassium. And for magnesium, there is a special type of magnesium. Unfortunately, I had only magnesium oxide, which has an absorption rate of 4%. That is the worst for fasting. The best would be magnesium citrate or glycinate, not oxide. To sum up all the supplements I had magnesium, potassium, and sodium. And sodium salt, I had Himalayan salt. Initially, I tried to put salt in my water. I didn't really like the taste, so I started just sucking on salt like a little goat. And that worked for me. It's actually quite delicious if you try to have salt that way. And I also had black coffee without anything at all. And also, if you take vitamins or effervescent electrolytes, check it out so it doesn't have any artificial sweeteners or any sugar at all. And I preferred to have the pills that you take with water so I'm not affecting my fasting because I really wanted to go into that deep autophagy and stem cells production. And the third tip would be not to do it alone. If you have a partner, an accountability buddy, someone you can do it together with and you can encourage each other, that would be ideal. And at the same time, if you do it by yourself and you are sharing the house with someone else, you will need their support. However, you may feel grumpy. I did. I was feeling angry, weak. I was not really myself. I was not able to have a social interaction as usual. So, this is something important to keep in mind. If I would do this fasting again, I would try to do it with someone else. This time I was completely alone with my cat. My boyfriend was traveling, and it was a bit of a challenge. And the special tip for ladies, you need to keep track of your cycle and don't do it right before your period. Then your body needs all the resources, so don't put this extra pressure on your body. Ideally, you would do it in the first half after your period has passed. So keep that in mind. Fasting is not only about these 5 days where our body heals and eliminates the cells that are not healthy, that are not serving anymore. It's about what happens after those 5 days. What kind of food are you putting into your body? And look at food as medicine. And interesting enough is that after these 5 days, when I broke fast, it was with a soup or bone broth. That's what was recommended, and I did something more special, and I added chicken wings and mushrooms and carrots and celery and broccoli and cauliflower, and I added all the nutrients I could get. And in the first day, I mostly drank the liquid, and then I started reintroducing things step by step. I didn't have any carbs the second day, so it is very important to be mindful of what you add back into your diet right after. And for the first soup that I cooked, it was like a ritual. It was not only food, it was like love that I poured back into my body, and I fantasized about it the day before, fourth day. And during the night, I had a dream. And in my dream, I cooked this beautiful soup. And I had many friends that decided to join without letting me know. In my dream, I was also visited by one of the lovely YouTubers I admire here, and she is way ahead of me, and she visited me in my dream, and I was concerned that I wouldn't have enough soup for everyone. And the interpretation here is that my worthiness, my concern that what I do is not good enough, sufficient enough, was being challenged. At the end, it was enough for everyone and everything was perfect. So after you start eating, expect a few days delay. You won't feel perfect right away. It will take some time to adjust. So your body will refuel and give your body nutrient rich foods so you can get your strength back, and it will take a few days. Don't expect that after the first time you would eat you will feel perfect. My only regret is that I didn't document it. I had a journal, I have a table here where I wrote every day what happened, but I didn't video. And that would have been very useful to remember exactly how I felt, because each day was like a roller coaster. I woke up with very little energy, and then after I went for my walk, it started climbing. And what's interesting is that it's not consistent, and you would think at a certain point all your energy is gone, but it's not. You are more powerful than you think you are. One of my biggest takeaways: it's okay not to have all the answers. Sometimes, if not always, it's best to just sit in the question and enjoy the journey. My goals were mental clarity, awareness, breaking free from automatic patterns of thought, and connecting more deeply with what's already present, dissolving the ego. And the second was health reset, anti-inflammation, immune system reset, gut health, and reducing my carbs and sugar cravings. Resetting my relationship with food. I used to have cravings, especially for sweets and carbs. So the first day was the easiest, and I wrote down my energy levels, my mood, mental clarity, cravings, any notes, and reflections. One question that arose during the first day was, wouldn't it be better if I start tomorrow? And if you catch yourself with the same thoughts or question, the tip is, what helped me is to brush your teeth. And whenever you have that craving to eat, brush your teeth and you will see that craving pass. Second day, I woke up calm but was a bit tired. My mental clarity started to decrease, and also my cravings started to decrease, but I started feeling lightheaded, like everything was moving in slow motion. And the first part of the day, I was irritable, grumpy, annoyed. Good thing that I am living by myself, and my cat is the best in the world, the best company. It was very difficult during the night, during this second day. I stopped eating Thursday at 3 p.m. and Saturday night was the most difficult night. I could barely fall asleep and I could not remember my dreams, and this is very important for me. I started keeping track of my dreams a few months ago. I think, just like Carl Jung, that dreams are messages from our subconscious. And I was feeling a little bit sad, more than a little bit, a lot. I was feeling depressed that I can't remember my dream. And questions to myself that I had: why is it so hard to stop doing something? Why do we have to suffer? If I quit, am I a failure? And during the night, I was thinking, am I going to die? Or this is stupid. If I quit, I am a failure. If I do it, it's not much. The third day, I was sad. I cried in the morning. PM, I was fine. My cravings were low. The symptoms were the same. Everything was moving in slow motion. And during the night, I was feeling very cold. And the good news is that I remembered my dreams the next morning clearly. Questions I got for myself: what old patterns am I shedding? And the answer: questioning instead of acting. How do I want to feel once this fast is over? Free. What new habits or mindsets am I ready to adopt? Can do it all. This was the day when I saw clearly this pattern that if I quit, I am a failure, and if I do it, it's not too much. and I was still able to edit videos and post, and I went for my walk for 1 hour and I felt okay. In the evening, I was also experiencing some elevated states of consciousness. I was seeing colors before bed, just like I did in the CIA Gateway Experience meditations. And what's interesting is that during day 3, I had energy in the evening when the night before I thought that I am going to die, and if I don't eat, that's it, and I'm not going to survive. It was all just a thought. It was not reality. That is so important. Then day 4, I was tired in the morning, but I was optimistic because there wasn't so much time left, so much to suffer. I had a lot of dreams and I was able to remember them, and I had the same physical symptoms. I was feeling lightheaded, I was feeling cold, and another thing was that I got a rash on my rib cage, which stayed for a few days, and from what I read, it's a sign of detox. And I also had a heightened sense of smell. For example, my cat's food was repulsive for me. And the question that arose, who am I? What is the true nature of reality? And general reflections, my mind was quieter and I was able to read, go for 1 hour walk. I was extremely cold though. And I also did the somatic breath work guided journey in the evening. You know that I am a certified somatic breathwork practitioner, and this time I was on the receiving side, and what was beautiful is that this time I was able to be there and be present for myself without forcing or expecting any particular outcome. The 5th day was the day that I started eating back at 4 p.m. In the morning, I already started preparing the soup, and it was like a ritual. And I was still having that lightheadedness, and everything felt like moving on slow motion, and the rash was still there. It was seemingly going back, but then it came back again. After I ate, I actually felt sad because my mood or my sense of cold did not disappear. That was actually a sign that my body is still healing, and I just needed to put my trust back in my body. This entire journey was like an emotional roller coaster. I was either feeling sad, crying, but then I also felt that calm sense of joy, quiet, openness. And during my walks in nature, I usually have my favorite tree and I like to put a hand on the tree and I close my eyes and I zone out, and I can see my visual field with my eyes closed, and it's like I am in a tunnel. During these days, this sensation was even more profound. The 6th day, I was actually eating. I kept reflecting on the main themes of my fast, and my body was still recovering. I was still feeling a bit sad and not really like myself. How many kilos did you lose? My goal was not losing weight. However, I can share with you, for those of you who are curious, I started at 55 kilograms and I lost around 1 kilogram per day. At the end, I had 51, actually 50.6. I had the lowest in my sixth day. So after I ate that soup, I usually weigh myself in the morning. And now I started gaining back again, and I'm now 53. My goal is to go back and have my regular weight of 55 kilograms. If you are curious, I'm 169 centimeters height. So I think that works for me, and I was able to stay with the same weight for a few years now. In high school, I used to struggle with my weight. As an adult, not anymore. If you would have asked me in day 2 or 3 in the morning, I would say no and that I hate it. Now my answer is absolutely. It's not only a way to reset our immune system, but it's also a way to prove to ourselves how strong we are and to release old patterns of thinking, old emotional patterns that no longer serve us. And it's absolutely free. It's about facing discomfort and realize that we are stronger than we think we are. If you are considering fasting, remember it's not about perfection, it's about setting the intention, enjoying the journey, and looking at it with curiosity and looking at what you may discover about yourself. And it's not for everyone. I wouldn't recommend it. So, one of the reasons why I did this is that I am passionate about well being, about connecting to the innate intelligence of our body and how our body knows how to heal. And I have also been asked what I think about it, and I only had this perspective from intermittent fasting, which has benefits on the longer term. This 5-day fasting has immediate benefits. As I said, this is not for everyone, so check with your doctor first. I am super passionate about connecting to the innate intelligence of our being, of our body, and I am a coach and I am a somatic breathwork practitioner. Somatic breathwork is a way to reconnect our mind with our body and our emotions, to connect to the innate intelligence of our being, release old patterns, and create space for how we want to show up in the world and connect to our inner peace, creativity, purpose. I will host a somatic breathwork guided journey on the 9th of February. It will be a Sunday. So if you would like to join, it is for free. It is my gift to you. Subscribe to my newsletter. I will include the link down below. This event is my gift to my email family, and I am so grateful for you. I spent 5 days without any food, fasting. My eyeballs were getting out of my head, just like Dory here. And one thing I remember, during the nights, my cat was usually sleeping next to my knees or ankles, and he would come up and put his mustache, his whiskers in my nose, and he was smelling me. Our breath changes the scent, and probably my cat was sensing that something is profoundly different about my body, and he was constantly checking up on me during the night, and that was cute. That's usually the point where everyone gives up, and I have been guilty of this when I tried to fast in the past. I stopped right before most of the benefits arose. And This happens because our ego does not like to be taken out of the comfort zone. He starts protesting. It's all in our head. And after the second day, when the hardest part has passed, I actually had more energy, especially in the evening. And it's explained because in the past, when we were fasting, the body sent this extra boost of energy. So we get up and go hunting. Our ancestors were fasting, they weren't eating so often, they were eating once every 3 days. So that motivated me also from our ancestors, the ones that weren't able to do this kind of long term fasting, they did not survive. So all of us, we have this gene that is benefiting from fasting. Nowadays, we are used to eating every 2 hours. Food is so abundant that we barely fast except when we are sleeping. But that's not the same thing. That was it for today. Thank you so much for watching, for liking this video, for subscribing. Before I go, I want to leave you with a quote from Benjamin Franklin. The best of all medicines are resting and fasting. What do you think about that? Let me know below. And let me know also if you have ever tried fasting or if you are contemplating doing it. I'm so curious to find out. If you also have any other question, drop it down below. I'm so grateful for you. I am so grateful to be able to share this journey. And I'm sending you so much love and a big, big hug. And I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.